I want you guys to know that as an American, being broke is not just hard, it is expensive.
And man, when I was broke, I did everything but die. When you broke, do you know how expensive it is to be broke?
And I be trying to figure out, why is it so expensive to be broke?
You know why it's so hard to get out of poverty? Because being broke is the most expensive thing you can do.
People think that being broke just means that you don't have money. But what they don't realize is that when you don't have money, everything just costs more. Does that have y'all ever experienced that? It's so weird how that all adds up. It's so crazy to me. Think about like something simple like food. If you got money, you can buy it in bulk, you can plan ahead, and you can even get a better deal. But if you're broke, you're buying what you can only afford in that moment. It may be smaller portions that may cost more, and you have to take more frequent trips throughout the week to the grocery store. So over time, you just end up paying more for less. And it's the same thing with fees as well. You got overdraft fees, late fees, and that interest will creep up on you. And when you're already struggling, one small slip up can cost you even more. Missing a payment, now you're paying the penalties, you're paying late fees. If you need money quickly, you need to get a loan, you'll start to have to pay interest on it. And it just turns into this cycle to where being short on money just creates more expenses. And then you would just, at that point, be trading in the most valuable thing that you have, and that's your time. People don't even talk about this enough. When you have money, you can buy convenience, faster transportation, better locations, more efficient options. As someone that, that recently started to travel, these airports out here, if you got money, you can make your experience a whole lot better. But when you don't, everything can take longer. More time commuting, more time waiting, more time figuring things out. And time has a cost. Oh my goodness, time has a cost. It will literally drain your energy. It limits your opportunities. It makes everything harder to manage. It's terrible. And then you have risk. When you don't have a financial cushion, every decision that you make feels heavier. One unexpected expense can throw literally everything off. So you're just sitting there constantly trying to avoid mistakes instead of making progress. And that pressure, like that stress, it literally affects how you think. It affects how you plan, what you're willing to take chances on. And it's not just that being broke is difficult. I don't think so. It's that the system makes it more expensive to stay that way. And once you're in that cycle, it's very hard to break out. Not because people aren't trying, but because every step forward just comes with extra weight. So when people say things like just budget better or just save more, they're really missing the whole reality of the situation, because it's not just about discipline. It's about the cost of being in a position where everything is literally stacked against you. And once you understand that, you start to see why people feel stuck. Not because they're not working or, breaking their backs at these jobs, but because they're paying more just to survive.
And man, when I was broke, I did everything but die. I don't like when people can't be real about stuff, man. I don't even be trying to be funny. I be being serious. When you broke, do you know how expensive it is to be broke? And see, I be thinking that people be thinking that broke is just some way out there type of... No, man. Do you know that some people are literally one paycheck, maybe even a couple of dollars away from being broke? I'm talking about the type of broke to where you have a way to make money, and of course money may come, but you need money to do certain things, to maneuver, and you know what I'm saying? The type of broke where, yeah, you probably can borrow some money from people, but it's hard out here for everybody. And so that same money that you borrowed, once you get your money again, you gonna have to play catch up on the stuff you couldn't pay for, and then find a way to pay the people back it's expensive to be broke. It really is. And see, it's just crazy because people don't even know how common being broke is. Broke is really common. Should it be common? Absolutely not. But it's more common than you really think it is. You need money for everything. You literally need money for almost everything. And when you ain't got none, or when you ain't got enough to take care of things that you need it for,
I be trying to figure out, why is it so expensive to be broke? Like, I don't know. The most expensive life you can live is being broke. Like, when you are broke, life is just so goddamn expensive. And I don't understand, how the fuck can life be expensive and you ain't got no damn funds? I'm confused here. Them overdraft fees hit you. Them bills hit you. Everything is hitting you all at once, and they just keep stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking and adding on. Like, goddamn, the most expensive lifestyle you could ever live is being broke. Like, I can't make this up. I really cannot make this up. You could be down bad on your ass. Probably gonna have to sell some ass, because, baby, man, you be getting out of hand when you broke. I'm just confused on how does that happen? Like, you know it's bad when being broke is expensive. Like,
being poor is really expensive. For example, I need a new used car, but I can only afford a car that's about the $2,000 to $3,000 range. I can't really afford anything from a dealership or to get an auto loan. After scrimping and saving and looking at cars for months and months, cars that had all sorts of crap wrong with them, I found one that seemed like okay and seemed like trustworthy people to buy from. I went over to them, checked out the car, gave them my hard-earned money, and then on the way home I had a blowout. And then after I had a tow truck, a very expensive tow truck because I can't afford to have AAA, tow me to a repair shop, I get told that 3 out of the 4 tires need to be replaced. And also the wheel well that's holding one of the tires on is messed up and that needs to be fixed. So now this cheap car has cost me an extra $400. And then driving it home from the repair shop, the blinkers go out. Plus a myriad of other problems with this car that I don't know about yet. Money that I don't really have, that I've been saving for months in order to have a car that I thought would be reliable and take me around town. Because I never will be able to afford a new car. And that's just one of many examples on how poor people having to buy lower quality stuff means that they spend more money over time maintaining that shitty stuff or buying more of that shitty stuff than someone who could just buy the nicer thing.
You know why it's so hard to get out of poverty? Because being broke is the most expensive thing you can do financially, is be broke. Make that make sense. Like, for example, I'm gonna just say some common examples. I didn't have the money, so my account overdraft a little bit. Because my account overdraft 35 cents, I now owe the bank $35. I overdraft 35 cents because I'm broke. Now I owe the bank $35. And even if I pay back that 35 cents, I still owe the bank $35 additional because I was short 35 cents. Being broke is expensive. I don't have the money to build my credit high yet. But I do want to apply for this loan. I do want to apply for this credit card. I do want to apply for this line of credit. Guess what? Because you don't have good enough credit, now everything you apply for credit-wise is going to have a significantly higher interest rate than if you had good credit. But because you're broke, you cannot build your credit. Which in turn means if you do get credit, anytime you use this credit, you owe back more. I don't know, let's say percentages. Like, you got good credit, you get a 10% interest rate on something. You got bad credit, it is now a 19% interest rate, 25% interest rate. Those are two very common things that just show you being broke is expensive. So yeah, in my opinion, that is literally one of the hardest parts about trying to get out of poverty, is that being broke is already more expensive than we can already afford.
It is way more expensive to be broke than to actually have some money. I know y'all like, what the hell is he talking about? Think about it, when you broke and you ain't got no money in the bank and they take the money out your bank, now you gotta worry about shit like overdraft fees. I already didn't have the money for y'all to take the shit out of my bank. Now y'all throwing another fee on top of that, which y'all know I don't even have the money to pay for that. If you don't have a bank account, you got to worry about going to places to get your check cashed, where they charge you to cash your check. Yes, you may think it's a little money, little bit of money now, but when you add that up over a year's time, they take a lot of money out your check for you to cash it. You want to go outside and party and have fun, but you behind on all your bills. Do you know they're going to attach a late fee to those bills? You out there partying like it ain't no fucking tomorrow. And when those bills come, like I said, you already don't have the money to pay the bills. What makes you think you're going to have the money to add on the extra bills and interest they added on top of that bill to pay it? This is exactly why I say you should always pay your bills first. I'd rather be broke in the house not being able to do shit, but my bills fucking paid.
Growing up, my mom was always saying that it's expensive to be poor, and the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And I was reminded of that today because I was going through my bank statements, and I had a charge in December for $12, and it was marked as monthly maintenance fee, but I had never had that before, and I haven't had it in the month since. So I chatted with like the little robot, whatever person on Bank of America, and I asked them like, what's up with this $12 fee? And the lady looks into it and she's like, oh yeah, like there's this monthly maintenance fee, but we waive it if you either have a deposit over this amount each month, your account balance is over this amount, or your preferred like member. And I'm thinking and I'm realizing like that was the month when I was between serving full time and looking for my new job. So like I didn't have a paycheck or anything deposited. My account had gone below a certain level. But then I'm like, oh wait, like I'm a preferred rewards member, whatever it is. She's like, oh yeah, like we actually looked at your account when it got below this certain level and you're no longer preferred. So I'm like, okay, damn, like you're really kicking me when I'm down. Like I have the least amount of money I've ever had and I don't have a deposit and then you charge me more on top of it. But ultimately, like whatever, it's $12 and I'm lucky that doesn't really matter to me right now. But then I was thinking of when I was younger and like my mom and I were really struggling and one of our biggest sources of income was like my Dunkin' Donuts paycheck, which was maybe like $140 a week, and how we were constantly getting late fees and they were always $35. It was like overdraft protection. So basically what would happen is like I have $55 in my bank account. Keep in mind, we're not even using credit cards. It's straight debit. So we're not even like overspending on credit. Like we're just, this is all the money we have. We're using it for basic necessities. And it'd be like, all right, I have $55 in my bank account. The phone bill, whatever the fuck hits, $70. Okay, negative 15. Okay, immediate negative 35 for the overdraft protection fee. So now it's like I'm negative $50. My next paycheck comes in, it takes $50 out of that. So then like the next bill, we're short $20. And it's just like an ever evolving cycle of every month, normally like 2 times a month, we're paying $70 in overdraft fees. And it's funny because that overdraft fee was over 20% of my weekly income. But to someone who made $1,000 a week or $2,000 a week or $100,000 a week, they would, one, never notice that fee if they ever got it. But two, they would never get that fee because their account would never go below zero. They would never not have the deposit. They just would never run into that problem. And that's why it's so expensive being poor, and the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. This can be applied to so many other things. So for example, I just had to renew my car insurance and it was for 6 months. If I paid for the 6 months in advance, I think it was like $550, I want to say. But if I didn't, it would be a total of like $750 over the 6 months. So I'm able to save $200 if I can pay it all at once, but otherwise if I can't, I have to pay $200 more. And if you're poor, guess what option you're going with because you have no other option. And the kicker is that $200 savings would really mean a lot to you, but you don't have that option. And it's the same thing with car payments and student loans and even things like the quality of your shoes or your jackets. Like you're buying the cheaper pair of shoes, that's all you can afford. You have to buy a new pair the next year. Parking tickets even, like you park on the street because you can't afford a parking spot, you get ticketed. Someone who can afford a parking spot, if they got that parking ticket, it wouldn't matter that much, but to you it does. So you fight it in court, you have to take time off work. It compounds and it compounds, and it truly is crazy. It's the same thing we see nowadays with Trump and the Republicans, and how like the bottom 20, 40, 60% pays the most in taxes and the billionaires pay the least, even though the taxes that the poorest people pay hit them the hardest. It's such a big percentage of their income and it actually matters because every $20 actually matters to poor people. And the rich people, they barely pay their share, and even if they paid what they were supposed to, they wouldn't even fucking notice. drives me insane.
I don't think people understand how expensive it is to be poor or broke. Let me explain. One could argue that being poor or broke is a mindset, but there are also many circumstances in which will limit you when it comes to your financial freedom and financial abilities to be able to get the resources and necessities you need to live a comfortable life. What we thought were necessities such as health insurance, car insurance, an affordable auto loan, or affordable interest rates when it comes to homes, credit cards, vehicles. It's expensive to live in this day and age. I understand that most people may think people are making stupid financial decisions, but at the end of the day, you have to do what you have to do, especially if you have a family. And it's very expensive to have car insurance, health insurance, to have a decent place to live in a decent, safe area. And we don't know what people are going through. And some people are playing it month to month, so close to the neck. For instance, going to the doctor and not having health insurance, or going to the hospital not having health insurance, and now you are incurring crazy amounts of medical debt because you don't have the proper coverage and you are getting less than normal treatment in order to push you out the door. Plenty of times I see people who can't afford full coverage car insurance, and that affects them later on down the line when it comes to coverage rates. They had to make a decision whether it's full coverage insurance or their rent or food on the table for them or their family. Think about the anxiety that would bring somebody if they can't afford full coverage car insurance and they have a family and they're always wondering, if I get in an accident, I won't be able to pay for this vehicle, I won't be able to pay for medical expenses, I won't be able to pay for the future cost of trying to reinsure another vehicle when I do have a better situation later on. So yes, being poor can cost you a lot when it comes to the furtherment or the advancement of your financial abilities, or you have an emergency situation happen and you need to take an emergency loan, whether it be a high interest rate credit card or a high interest rate auto loan, and you know that you can try to make it work, but the reality is you didn't make it work, and now you are stuck with a hindered credit score for 3, 4, 5 years, which will not allow you to advance yourself financially. Which goes to show we don't know what people are going through, and we have to give grace and we have to give courtesy. And for the most part, I do appreciate social media for helping others maneuver around these obstacles and these situations, and allowing them to have creative solutions to have a replacement or have an alternative for that situation they're in, whether it be financial or mental or emotional. But yes, being poor can definitely put you in a situation where it can be very expensive. So to everybody going through tough financial times or have been going through tough financial times, I'm praying for you for an increase in blessings, more stability, and the ability to come out of this deep hole that you feel like you're in. We've all been there. I've been there multiple times, but it's just another reminder for us to be grateful for what we have and understand that we don't know what other people are going through.
Being broke is expensive, bro. Like, it literally costs you so many things that we don't even realize. Like, it costs you so much time. It costs you options. It costs you having a peace of mind. And then all of that combined, it kind of costs you your health, because you stressed out. Your anxiety is through the roof. Your blood pressure is through the roof. And then on top of that, you got to pay more for everything. Because you don't have money, you have to borrow it. And then they're going to charge you to borrow the money. So they hit you with these crazy interest fees. And then because you don't have the money to pay for the bills, you got to get hit with the late fees. And so now you got to pay more that you couldn't already pay. And then so it just piles up on you. And then you get overpriced on convenience, and not to mention all the missed opportunities you have to have because you can't take advantage of them due to having no money. So a lot of your decision making and your thinking is based off of survival and not strategy. And that's the unfortunate reality for so many people, and some truly can't catch a break. I'll never be the person to say, oh, quit making excuses. Like, I've seen some people that life has dealt them a real heavy hand, but then there's some people that choose to kind of stay there because of the decisions that they make on a daily basis. For example, there's some people that make enough money to live a comfortable enough life, but they don't budget, they don't check their expenses, they don't tell their money where to go, so they always ask where their money went. They have a got it spending mentality, so as long as they got money, their only mindset and mentality is to spend it. We have to change that mentality. We have to change that mindset of being in survival mode or living in survival mode, and try to get to a place where we can thrive, where we can have a peace of mind. And all of that is possible. We just have to do better and be better with our money.
Like, people always talk about how being rich comes with a lot of problems. You got to pay this much in taxes, and I used to be the same way. But now that I'm actually starting to understand and I'm starting to see things play out in real life, like, being broke is expensive. Like, being broke is expensive. Like, all of the late fees, you know what I'm saying? All of the interest rates, all of the, you know, the opportunity cost. All of those things are costly. That even if somebody came by with a deal and be like, hey, bro, I got this property right here. This property, I'm selling it for $5,000. And you broke, so you can't even take advantage of it to be able to create no cash flow. So is that opportunity really an opportunity? Or if you're late, if you're late on your bills, and then they start taxing, oh, we got a $200 late fee. Or if you're late paying your credit card, oh, we got 24% interest on this. Listen, being broke is costly. Yeah, like being rich comes with its fair share of problems and this, that, and the third. But you can't tell me that being broke is basically a rich man's sport, because you pay for everything.
Being broke is expensive. I was just about to make a video talking about people who use Cash App and Chime as their primary bank account, and it really got my wheels turning, because I was like, wait, is this coming off a little judgmental? It made me think about why people are in those predicaments. I was thinking about how when you grow up in poverty or not having a lot of money, you know how easy it is to be like, man, I'm gonna let this one transaction overdraft me, and after that I'll dig myself back out, right? So say you got a $10 transaction, you really need food, or your child really needs milk, right? Then you let this transaction overdraft, and then the bank charges you like $20 or something for an overdraft fee, and then they try to charge you each day that it's in the negative, right? Say this transaction happens on a Monday, and then you don't get paid till Friday. When your check comes on Friday, now you're like, dang, my check is like $200 short, because I got to pay for the transaction that I let go through, and then I got to pay for all of the fees that they charge me in the process, and then you have less of a check, then your bills are behind, and you have to, it's this domino effect that poverty just really, I don't think people understand how connected all these things are. And it's like, you know, I don't have the money, but you charging me because I don't have the money. So a lot of times people will end up letting their check go to a different account, or they'll just say, give me a paper check and I'll take it to Walmart and cash it, because they don't want to lose that $200 that would be taken out of their check. And then the bank is going to continue to charge you interest. You can't pay it. So then they close your account, and then they put you in something called a check system. If you don't know, look it up. They put you in there, and then you can't even go and get another bank. So before you know it, you have to use something like Cash App or Chime as your primary checking account, because no bank will take you, because you got a bad reputation of closing other banks. The system is the system is the system.
Being broke is expensive, man. Being broke costs you a lot of stuff. It's costing you a lot more than you realize. For the rest of 2024, man, let's lock in on our finances. Let's be better and do better with our money, so that we can experience and explore more, and so that we can be able to take advantage of opportunities. I mean, just think about all the things that you want to do. I'm not talking about one specific experience. I'm talking about like in many different aspects. Think about all the people you want to help. Think about all the things that you want to give, but you can't because you're not where you want to be financially. It costs you experiences. It costs you opportunities that you can't take advantage of. It's expensive. I know you want to do this for your kids. You want to take your kids there. Shoot, even for yourself. There's many places around the world that you want to go and travel and explore, but you can't because your finances aren't where they need to be. And this is why I'm an advocate. This is why I advise and try to help as many people as I can, because I've seen the world, you know what I'm saying? I done been able to experience things that I never thought I would be able to experience. But the truth of the matter is, stuff costs money. And if you ain't got it, it's a lot of things that you ain't able to explore. It's a lot of things you're not able to experience or have the opportunities to see or take advantage of.
I think if you've been rich for a while, or you're making multiple six figures for a while, I think you forget just how painful it is to be paycheck to paycheck or broke. And you've also never been paycheck to paycheck post-COVID. There's a very big difference between being paycheck to paycheck in 2005 compared to 2026. A lot of people are waking up in the morning to their alarm, and their first thought isn't, ooh, I can't wait for coffee. It's, what bills do I have today? I'm so stressed out. Let me check my banking app. I have to go to work. When they get in their car and they notice their car is on empty, it's not just a mild convenience that they have to stop. It is, I wasn't prepared to spend $40 today on gas. How am I going to afford this? Then they commute to work. They go up in the office and they find out that everyone's collecting a few dollars for Jenny's birthday party. And you're like, oh, I love Jenny. Let me give some money. Then your friends at lunch at work go, hey, do you want to go get a smoothie or go get a salad? And you want to go, but you can't get that moment of pleasure because you can't spend the $12 on the salad. So you have to just eat the granola bar alone at your work because you can't spend the money. Then you commute home stressed about your day, stop at the grocery store. You have to open up your banking app and you have to see how much money is left. So instead of walking in thinking about the smiles on your kid's face or your spouse's face of what you're going to make, like someone with money does, you have to go through and bargain shop of what you can afford that day to make dinner, so that you have to calculate the money, cash out, and then go home and make dinner. Then you're doing all your family stuff, you're still thinking about the bills, you're paying shit, then you finally get in bed at 9 p.m. and you get a text message from your best friend in a group. Great news, girl, throwing my 30th birthday in Fort Lauderdale in 2 months, can't wait to see you. Instead of initially being like, oh my God, can't wait, you're looking like, what outfits am I gonna get? What hotel are we staying in? Oh, I'm gonna look at my flights. You're instantly, your stomach, your heart drops to your stomach because you can't afford to go. So now you have to try to figure out over the next 2 months, how do I save $1,000 to do this? Or do I put it on a credit card and screw myself over? Or do I have to walk with my tail between my legs as a 30-something person and say, I can't afford the $1,000? That is just one day. And I think people need to have a little bit more empathy. And before you say it, oh, if you don't make enough money, go do something else. This is the average American. These are people making $40,000 to $70,000. You can't just have everybody fucking quit their job. 150 million people who make that kind of money. This is what America costs now. And this is the psychological warfare that is happening. So we have to give people a little credit and a little empathy that they are going through a very hard time and they're trying to figure it out, but they're doing their best.